friends, Krista here. Welcome to Middle Grade March. Yay! Today is March 1st and I am so thrilled to once again be bringing you a recommendations video. I have scoured BookTube and I have found all new people this year. I'm so thrilled. Everyone who's in this video either has a new channel or is new to me as of this year, and they have not been in this recommendations video in past years. That means we have a lot of new faces to get to know. We have a lot of new books to hear about. It has come together so well. I'm so thrilled about this recommendations video, and I've already borrowed a couple of these books from the library. So get your notebooks ready, get your Goodreads open, get your Storygraph open, get your library app open, whatever you need to do to start taking notes, because I bet you will be introduced to a handful of new books that you've never heard about before, and a lot of new people that you need to go check out on YouTube as well. Every person and every book that's mentioned in this video is going to be linked in the description below, so that will help you as you progress through the video. I've also put timestamps for each of the 5 prompts for this year's Middle Grade March, as well as a handful of wildcard picks like we always have at the end. I hope you enjoy watching, and I hope you find a lot of great books.
Hi, my name's Jennifer. Me and my friend Amanda have a bookish YouTube channel called Fiction Addictions. I'm here to talk about a middle grade level book. My recommendation, Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. I read this book around 11 years old, and I think the fact that the main character, Anne, is 11 in the book had a lot to do with why I love this book. Anne is an orphan. She gets sent to brother and sister Matt and Marilla by accident. They had asked for a boy to help on their farm, but they end up keeping her. She is a rambunctious, imaginative, through lots of adventures. She has a lot of character, and I think the fact that she has red hair had a lot to do with why I loved her. She finds a best friend. She even spars with a boy that ends up down the road being someone she falls in love with, Gilbert. It's very empowering to see such a talkative and demonstrative young girl. Anne of Green Gables is definitely a children's classic. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it.
Hey guys, my name is Sam, and I am so happy to be recommending you guys a middle grade. I don't read a lot of middle grades, so you know if I'm recommending you one, it's gotta be good, right? I'm excited to recommend a middle grade graphic novel. I love graphic novels, they're so good. And I, of course, want to recommend Dungeon Club. This is by Molly Knox Ostertag. Yeah, this author has 3 names. I am so excited to recommend this. There's 2 books in the series so far, the first one being Roll Call. It is a very sweet middle grade following a friendship, bringing their Dungeons & Dragons campaign to their school and starting a club, and it has a lot of finding yourself and the meaning of friendship and just a lot of heartwarming subjects, but it's all in a cute little graphic novel where you get to see their actual D&D campaign and see them explore their emotions through a game rather than just having to figure it out on their own. And it's just so precious and heartwarming, so I'm so happy to be able to recommend it to you guys. I hope if you pick it up you absolutely love and enjoy it as much as I do, and I will see you guys around. Bye!
Hi there, my name is Amy Marie and I am from the channel Books with Amy Marie. I talk a lot about mysteries, and I'm not the biggest middle grade reader currently, but one that I remember adoring during my middle school years, and one that I've reread since then, is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This came out in 1905, so it does fit the 1900s publication challenge or prompt if you're looking to follow that for middle grade March. And I love this story for its heart. Our main character is Sarah, and she is a very spoiled but lovable young girl, and unfortunately her father passes away, and the people who run this like kind of boarding school home for these young girls end up taking in Sarah, and they sell all her possessions. She doesn't have any family. They end up selling everything and forcing her to work as a servant. So she goes from being this very adored, wealthy young girl to having absolutely nothing, and on top of that they are very abusive to her. And this book is really about making the best of your circumstances. It reminds me a lot of Walt Disney's Cinderella, where she really, she's in a terrible position, but she uses her imagination, her dreams, and her mind to make the best of the situation, and it's just a really endearing, heartwarming story as a result.
Hi, my name is Jessica from Jessica's Library Card, and I'm so excited to be able to recommend one of my favorite books for middle grade March this year, and that's going to be The Last Cuentista by Donna Barba Higuera. This book is the story of a young girl who travels with her family on a generation ship where they're going to sleep as they go away from a dying Earth. This book is about the power of stories. Our main character wishes to become a storyteller just like her abuelita was, and when she awakens on the ship and finds that she may be the only one who remembers the stories of Earth, she knows that she has to do something to save them all. It's a great book, and it would count for 3 prompts. It would count for author with 3 names. It would count for flower on the cover, and it would count for travel because they are definitely traveling in this book. And I hope that you all check it out. It's a book that's meant a lot to me and that I think so many people would really enjoy.
Hello everyone, my name is Chelsea and I am so excited to bring you a middle grade recommendation. This book that I'm going to be talking about is actually like my most recent 5-star middle grade read, and it's going to fit for a few of the prompts. It is a first book in a series. It features travel, like magical travel, and it has flowers on the cover. The book that I am talking about is Cinderella and the Beast, or Beauty and the Glass Slipper by Kim Bussing. This is the first book in the Princess Swap series that is all set in this magical world, and one of the things that I absolutely loved about this is we literally have Cinderella and Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and they have a magical swap into each other's stories. We do have the basics still of the Cinderella fairy tale and the Beauty and the Beast fairy tale, but Kim Bussing really fleshes them out as characters. There are some differences as well, but I still really enjoyed it. And because they get swapped, they basically take each other's fairy tales and make it their own. So it's not like Cinderella gets swapped into Belle's story and then is trying to find her way out the entire time. She makes the Beauty and the Beast storyline her own, and vice versa. I just really love this new take on a retelling with a twist, and so I hope you guys will too. This is a book that I really enjoyed, and I definitely want to continue with the series. It's just such a fun middle grade fantasy adventure.
Hey friends, my name is Josh from the channel Pages and Grace. My recommendation for middle grade March is Wish by Barbara O'Connor. This one fits the prompt flowers on the cover. They are sitting in a field of flowers on the cover of the book. I read this book last year and absolutely fell in love with it. We follow Charlie in this book. She is actually taken into protective custody away from her parents. She is placed with an aunt and uncle that she really doesn't have a strong relationship with at the time. She goes through a lot. We follow her as she goes through a lot of grief and a lot of lack of control in her life and lack of control over why she was taken. She can't control how she can get back. She can't control the actions of her parents, and she really struggles through finding her place in her new situation. It is a beautiful story of friendship with the dog on the cover, friendship with a neighbor boy who has a lot of his own struggles and really helps Charlie walk through her situation. I absolutely loved it, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello, it's Sarah here from Your Tree Shelf. The book I'd like to recommend, which meets the prompt of having flowers on the cover, is Heidi by Joanna Spyri, which is a beautiful children's classic. This is following Heidi, who is a young girl in the 1800s and is an orphan. She has to go and live with her grandfather, who is a surly, reclusive old man who's living in the Swiss Alps as a goat herd. She falls in love with the Alps and all of the wonders of nature, and she also forms a firm friendship with a boy called Peter who helps her grandfather. His heart is opened by having Heidi in his life, and everybody is devastated when Heidi has to leave the Alps and go and live as a companion to a young girl called Clara who lives in the city. Heidi misses nature dearly and her grandfather and their ways of life, and she wants to let Clara experience this to see if it helps her with her health issues. This is about the delights of nature, and it's so beautiful and heartwarming, and I'd highly recommend this book.
Hi there, my name is Whitney and my channel name is Whitney's Reading Journey. I want to thank Krista for allowing me the space here on her channel to brag about one of my favorite middle grade books, and that is A Place to Hang the Moon by Kate Albus. Imagine if the kids from Narnia ended up not going into the wardrobe. We follow 3 siblings, William, Edmund, and Anna, and their grandmother just passed away and left them a lot of money. In this book, we're just following these three siblings going from home to home, family to family, trying to find their forever home. These kids really find a safe place in the local library and make friends with the librarian, and there's so much bookish talk in this book. So if you like books about books, this has you covered. If you like historical fiction, it's got you covered. And of course, middle grade. I absolutely adore this book. I fell in love with it. I flew through the pages. I laughed. I cried. I really hope that you check it out for middle grade March.
I'm Cheryl from Candlewick Library. I could pick so many different middle grade books, but I have to choose Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. This has been my favorite book since I was 8 years old, and I first encountered Anne Shirley, and she became such a huge part of my world and my personality even. This tells the story of Anne, who is a young orphan and is adopted by an elderly brother and sister on Prince Edward Island in Canada. They are expecting a young boy to help out on the farm, and instead, this young, imaginative, talkative girl shows up at their farm. It is a story of hope. It is a story of found family, love, imagination, and it really is such an optimistic and happy book. I think that everyone can find something to take away from this book that will enrich their life. And as far as the readathon goes, the only prompt it wouldn't fit is the group read. It is an author with 3 names, Lucy Maud Montgomery. It is the first in a series. It does include travel because she comes to Prince Edward Island on a train. It was written in the 1900s, and it has flowers on the cover on most editions. So I think that you could pick this for any of the prompts, and I hope you'll enjoy it.
Hey everyone, it is Smitty, and I run a booktube account, Smitty1423, where I passionately talk about some of my favorite books here. And I know this is your 8th year doing a readathon, which is absolutely amazing. And my reading origin started way back when, like elementary and middle school. And one of my favorite books, actually one of my favorite series, was a series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. And you follow like siblings as they go through some of the most outrageous, some of the most insane events throughout. I think it's 13 books in the series. So it'll keep you busy, it'll keep you on your toes. And as a kid, I really enjoyed that. Because again, I think they're like 200, 300 pages, if that, or maybe even shorter than that. But, you know, reading those stories really just brought a light to my day, even though it was some of the craziest things that these kids kind of went through. I hope you enjoy your readathon. And like I always tell people all the time, happy reading.
Hey y'all, I'm Jess from Jess the Book Dragon here on YouTube, and today I want to recommend to y'all the first book in a series, which is My Life in Pink and Green by Lisa Greenwald. This is the first book in the Pink and Green series. This book, we follow Lucy. She's being raised by a single mother. They live in the apartment above their family-run pharmacy that is struggling to compete with the big chain stores that are popping up around their town. One day the local homecoming queen comes in and she is having a disaster of a hair day. Lucy decides to offer up her advice and her help. She kind of ends up starting a makeover side business. Throughout the story, Lucy is trying to get the adults in her life to take her seriously and let her help save the family business. Lisa Greenwald's writing is really descriptive, and I always could imagine this as a movie in my head. I hope you enjoy this book if you decide to pick it up, and have a happy reading month.
Hello, my name is Julie and this is Once Upon a Julie, and I've been invited to tell you about one book that I'm going to choose, and it's this one here, The Haunting of Aveline Jones. And I have to say that I was really captivated by this story. There is 2 other books, but this is the first one. It's a little bit spooky, as you can tell by the cover, but the cover is beautiful, but it's not the best thing about it. This book is written so well. It's written in a spooky kind of way, but not in like a terrifying it's going to give you nightmares. You're going to have to read it as to see why Aveline gets haunted.
Hey friends, my name is Dee Dee and my channel is Virtues of Books. I'm new to the booktube community and recently started hosting reading and productivity sprints, but I'm working on creating book content that documents my journey of discovering new stories and my love of e-readers. This year, my reading focus is on fantasy, vampire lore, classics, and I can't forget books with Black and African representation. Before I go on, I have to say a huge thank you to Krista for including me in this collab. I'm new to middle grade, and I don't think I've read middle grade since I left school. And if you've been on my sprints, you'll know that this year I want to expand my reading. So this has been a fantastic opportunity to do just that. The book I'm recommending is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, which is the first book in the Supernatural Investigation series. The story follows Amari Peters, whose brother Quentin has been missing for several months and no one is talking about it. But his mysterious new job may hold clues to his whereabouts. When Amari gets a strange invitation, she has the chance to join the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, where she discovers a whole new magical world and the answers to the questions about her missing brother. I really enjoyed this book. I loved Amari's determined nature, the mystery of Quentin's disappearance, and the self-discovery journey Amari goes on as she searches for her brother. If you enjoy magic, mystery, lovable characters, and characters we love to hate, Amari and the Night Brothers ticks those boxes. Anyway, that's it from me. I can't wait to see all of the book recommendations and what Middle Grade March has to offer. Take well, friends.
Hey guys, my name is Sam from A Spark of Sam on all social media platforms. First of all, I want to say, Krista, thank you so much for including me. I really appreciate it. It's such an honor. For my recommendation for Middle Grade March, it's one that is a bit on the darker side, but after Harry Potter, it gave me that fantasy series that I was itching for the next book to come out. I remember my brother and I couldn't wait, wondering when's the next book going to come out, how many books are going to be in the series. And that book is Cirque du Freak by Darren Shan. Going to a freak show is one thing, but what do you do when your friend confronts one of the performers after the show and calls them out that they're a vampire? Maybe it was a mistake, or maybe it was destiny. I hope if you guys choose to read this, you'll read the whole series and you get to find out what happens, because this was like headcanon for me growing up.
Hey, what's up, bookworm? So a middle grade book that is good for kids. Now, obviously, I want to go for one that I loved when I was a kid, but I kind of want to focus this more on people who have kids, and that is going to be The Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson, and really just the Percy Jackson series as a whole, because my 11-year-old and I read this together for over the course of a few months, like every night before bedtime. And it was one of those where I thought, okay, this will be perfect for him because he's into Greek mythology and things like that. But for me, it was that we got to share this together. And it was one of those where I went into it thinking, I'm going to be facepalming the whole time. But I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. So I think this is great for middle grade, obviously, all the way up to, well, however old you are, really. It just really is how seriously you take it. But kid who finds out he is a demigod, descendant of great Greek gods and goddesses, and it is just a fun, thrilling adventure. Very much the answer to Harry Potter, I think, at that time period. But it's aged pretty well to where I think it's still very enjoyable for current generations, future generations, and again, parents that are just trying to share something with their kids. So yeah, I definitely recommend, and I think you should check it out.
Hello, my name is Nicole, and I've got a book to share with you for Middle Grade March. This is a book that will fit great into the prompt of a book that is part of a series, and that series would start with The Adventures of Nanny Piggins. So if you want to know what you're getting, think Mary Poppins, but if she was a pig. Yes, that's right. It's your typical nanny trope with a very atypical nanny. Sugar and chocolate are on the menu, and the kids are just going to have a good time. This book tells the story of a group of siblings whose father is just the cheapest of the cheapest. And so rather than hiring your normal everyday nanny, when a pig shows up at his door, he decides that she is the perfect one to help take care of his kid. You name it, it's in here, and it's a wild ride every single time. It is a great book no matter what age you are. So I hope you give it a try and have a great month.
Hi everybody, I'm Jen from Pages and Chaos, and Krista has asked me to recommend a book for this year's Middle Grade March prompt. And the book that I'm going to recommend is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, and this would fulfill part of a series prompt. I actually discovered this during last year's Middle Grade March, and for this year year, I'm going to pick up the third book in this series. I absolutely fell in love with this book. This is described, in my opinion, as Harry Potter meets Divergent. This is about Amari, who is on a mission to find her brother, even though everyone tells her that he's disappeared and he's not coming back. And one day she gets an invitation for tryouts for the Supernatural Bureau of Affairs, and she has to compete for a spot against all these kids that have supernatural powers and have been practicing with their powers for a long time. And she finds out what her power is. It's actually illegal. It's a magician. And the reason why it's illegal is because one of the Knight brothers is the evil magician that has been terrorizing and threatening the supernatural world. So everybody is kind of against her. And the bullying that she goes through in this book is just heartbreaking. But also watching her endure this and then overcome this, trying to figure out who her friends are and how she's also going to find her brother while navigating through everybody being against her is just an incredible journey to watch. So I highly, highly recommend that you pick up Amari and the Knight Brothers and continue the series as well.
Thank you to Krista from Books and Jams for inviting myself, Ed, and my brother Will from the Brothers Gwyn onto your channel to talk about Middle Grade March. Now, Will, what is your book of choice?
I'm choosing Arthur by Michael Morpurgo. I've been a lover of Arthurian legend, well, since I read this book, basically. And so it's had a very big influence on my life. It is a book that captures the magic of this myth and legend of Arthur brilliantly. We hear some of the side stories and we get the main story itself as well. Michael Morpurgo is a wonderful writer who has written a story here that I loved as a child, and when I reread it as an adult, it has that kind of permeability, and it's just a fantastic book.
My choice is the Chris Bradford series, The Young Samurai. This is about a boy from England who washes up on the Japanese shore in the very early 17th century, and he is then taken to a Japanese school. Now, this series even made me fall in love with reading, made me fall in love with Japan, made me fall in love with swords so much that I had to go and buy one.
Only when we're a few years older.
Exactly. It's got great friends in it, great rivalries, and it's one of my favourite series of all time. I hope you enjoy it.
Truth and courage.
Truth and courage.
Hey everyone, I'm Lucy from the Lucy Chronicles, and the middle grade book I want to recommend that is my favorite hands down is Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Now, I did just recently read this back in 2024, and I was blown away. Now, I grew up on the Little miniseries starring Megan Fallows, and I love that. It's very sentimental, the story is to me, but I have to tell you, the book is even better. There's just something about her whimsical, poetic writing that just sucks you in and makes you feel so many things, but also makes you feel like you're right there on Prince Edward Island. It is such a beautiful story. It's so beautifully written, and if you look and pay attention, this fulfills all 5 prompts for Middle Grade March this year. So if you haven't read it already, please, I implore you, I beg you, please go read it. You won't regret it. Thank you so much, Krista, for reaching out. I am honored and so blessed and happy to be a part of this little project. God bless you.
Hi, my name's Rainy over at Rainy Blue Reads, and I'm really excited to get to be part of this collaboration this year. So as far as a middle grade book goes, I don't read a lot of them, but this one I knew immediately I was going to recommend, as I have read it multiple times, and it is a fan favorite of mine. And that is Miss Frisbee and the Rats of Nim by Robert C. O'Brien. So this one is the story about our widowed field mouse, Miss Frisbee, and she has to protect her family from this farmer's plow, but she has to seek help from a bunch of intelligent rats known as the Rats of Nim, who they gained these like advanced abilities and powers through experiments at the National Institute of Mental Health. And she needs their help because she can't escape the farmer's plow without them because her son is too sick to travel to safety. And so they have this really treacherous journey where they're like fighting all these things. They're having to get away from this cat named Dragon. It's a whole adventure, but I love that the theme of it is really about banding together and using your unique abilities to overcome adversity. And so it's just a fan favorite. I love it so very much, and I hope that everyone else does too. And it does hit the prompt for, came out in the 1900s because it was written in the 70s.
Hi, Krista. Hi, everyone. So my name's Linda. I'm from Lilybug's Library, and this is my buddy Dudley.
And we are so excited to be participating in Middle Grade March this year. So I have the first book that I'm going to start with is one from my childhood. It's all about life on the prairie and bonding and coming together to make everything happen in your life and to have a great family and working hard. And I bet you've probably already guessed. It's A Little House in the Big Woods by Laura Ingalls Wilder. So really looking forward to reading this one again. I just know it's going to stand up just as well as it did when I was 9 or 10, and can't wait to get started on it. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, Heather from Waterbury Reads here. Thank you so much, Krista, for having me on your video. For Middle Grade March, I would like to recommend Hatchet. If you haven't already read this, this is such a great book. It's such a page turner. Oh my goodness. We follow Brian, and he is going to spend the summer with his dad. His parents are going through a divorce, but his dad is working up in the Canadian wilderness, and he's flying up to see his dad for the summer. He's in a very small plane, and his pilot suffers a heart attack. And it's up to Brian to land the plane. He lands the plane in the Canadian wilderness in the middle of nowhere, and he has no way of getting rescued. He has to survive on his own, and it's just brilliant. It is so exciting, page turner, seat of your pants, one more chapter please. It's not just about survival, but it's also about finding strength within yourself and self-reliance and that sort of aspect of growing up or coming of age. On my channel, I like to focus on the illustrators, so I just wanted to tell you real quick, it's illustrated by Drew Willis, and let me show you some of his wonderful illustrations. He's based in New York. There's one of them. Beautiful kingfisher. Wolves. Loved this book. Thank you so much.
Hi, Nell here from Nell's Next Chapter. Thank you, Krista, for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm so excited to be sharing a recommendation for Middle Grade March. The book that I'm going to be recommending is Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is the first book in the Nevermore series, and I believe the fourth book in this series is set to be released in April later this year. But this story follows a young girl named Morgan who is cursed to die on her 11th birthday, but her life takes a surprising turn when she's whisked away by a mysterious man named Jupiter North. He takes her to a magical world called Nevermore for the opportunity to join a very prestigious organization called the Wondrous Society. But to earn a spot in the society, she must first successfully complete a series of dangerous and magical trials, which test her bravery and intelligence. And along the way, she begins to unravel secrets about her family and her curse. It's magic, adventure, it's friendship and identity. What I really love about this is that for a middle grade book, I'd say the stakes are pretty high. I found myself being fully invested in Morgan's journey. Also, the audiobook for this is fantastic. I loved the little musical interludes that you get in between the sections, and I highly recommend this. Now, this would fulfill the prompt to read a book that is part of a series, so if you do decide to read this for Middle Grade March, I hope that you love it as much as I did.
Hi, this is Una of Una Reads, and my recommendation for Middle Grade March is Who Could That Be at This Hour by Lemony Snicket. This is the first in a series of 4 mysteries featuring the character of Lemony Snicket as a 13-year-old who is taken to a formerly seaside town on a mission for a mysterious organization. The books each feature a compelling mystery in an absurd world with a compelling cast of characters. The book also fulfills 2 of the prompts, one being in a series and the other being featuring travel, as the book starts with a car journey to the town of Stained by the Sea. I think Snicket does a great job of balancing the absurd aspects of the world with real moments of danger and characters with really genuine human motivations. If you were a fan of a series of unfortunate events as a kid, or if you, like me, wanted to be a fan but you were too scared or frustrated by those books, these might be great for you. They completely hold up as an adult. I reread the whole series last year in 2024 and give them all 5 stars. I hope you check this one out.
Hi, I'm Elena, booktuber, bookstore owner and classics lover, and today I want to recommend to you a middle grade book. One of my favorite middle grade authors is Ross Montgomery, and his favorite book is called The Midnight Guardians. This book is set during the Second World War, and our main character has evacuated from London to the countryside with his aunt. His 17-year-old sister has stayed behind, and he is on a quest to find her. He doesn't do this alone, he does this together with his Midnight Guardians, which are kind of his imaginary friends. These Midnight Guardians are mostly based on classic tales, which I really enjoyed. Throughout their journey, our main character and the Midnight Guardians meet a German girl and they forge an unlikely bond. It is a lovely, heartwarming story about people trying to find their family, about love and protection from things that you create in your mind, and the overall love of stories. It's a beautiful, slow-paced middle grade. It's that kind of book that's very enjoyable to read as an adult as well, because it's very layered, especially with the references towards classic literature or classic tales. The audiobook narration is also amazing if you want to listen to it as an audiobook. This book would work for the travel prompt.
Hi, my name is Julie. My channel is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee, and today I want to tell you about The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill, which is a Newbery Award winner and one of my favorite middle grade novels. In this book, we're following a town that leaves a baby in the woods every year as a sacrifice to the local witch, and the local witch who doesn't understand why these townspeople are leaving a baby in the woods every year. She picks up the child and takes it across the wood, feeding it Starlight along the way in order to adopt it to a loving family on the other side. But one year she accidentally feeds the baby Moonlight instead of Starlight. The witch decides she has to raise this baby on her own because it will be more powerful than the others, and the consequences of these actions come knocking 13 years later for the baby, for the witch, for the town, and for the world at large. And I absolutely adore this book. It's wonderful, it's lovely, I absolutely recommend it. Thank you so much to Krista for involving me in this project, and I hope everyone enjoys their middle grade March reads so very much.
Thank you so much, Krista, for inviting me to take part in this project. I love watching this video every single year. So I'm Chatty, I'm from the channel Chatty the Mad Chatter, and I'm going to be chatting away madly about my favourite middle grade book that I read last year, and that is Hamra and the Jungle of Memories by Hannah Alkaf. This is a Malaysian folk tale, and it is inspired by Little Red Riding Hood. Our protagonist is Hamra, and she's feeling very frustrated. She lives near a jungle, but she forgets to follow the rules of the jungle because she's so angry one day. And when you don't follow the rules, there are consequences. And hers come in the form of a were-tiger and a magical quest. So this fits in perfectly for prompt number 4, going on a journey. But Hamra also goes on a character journey as well. There is this wonderful arc of growth, and we see Hamra learn from her mistakes and develop. And it's so fantastic to see. Hannah Alkaf's writing is exquisite. There is also a wonderful theme of memory in here, which links to Hamra's grandma having dementia. There is so much emotion and bittersweetness within this story, as well as magic and the heart and the warmth you expect in a middle grade. But I really love how Hannah Alkaf just pulls everything together in this gorgeous circle. The way the plot all comes together is so satisfying, it's so well done. Adore the characters. Absolutely recommend. I hope you have a chance to read it and enjoy it as much as I do.
Hi, I am Jenna from Books Love Jenna, and I am here to recommend this wonderful little book to you. This is The Millicent Quibb School of Etiquette for Young Ladies of Mad Science by Kate McKinnon. I just read this in December and I really, really loved it. It is funny, it is heartwarming, it is heartfelt. It's about 3 young girls that live in the city of Antiquarium in the state of Massachusetts in the year 1911. They receive a mysterious invite to attend the school for mad science run by Millicent Quibb. Now, in their town, Millicent Quibb is considered to be a very dangerous individual because she practices mad science. But Millicent needs to teach some new young women how to fight against a nefarious gang of other mad scientists who are trying to take down the town of Antiquarium. Can these 3 girls trust Millicent Quibb, who's supposed to be a danger, to teach them how to save the town that they've never really felt like they belong in? This book is heartfelt, warm, funny, and just an absolute laugh out loud delight. Thanks for having me here. This was fun.
Hi, my name is Afama Omisi and I run the website Reading Middle Grade. I'm here today to share one of my favorite middle grade novels. This one was released in 2024 and it's called Take It From the Top by Claire Swinarski. This is the story about 2 best friends and how their friendship fell apart, told over the course of 6 summers, alternating narrators between one girl, Jules, and the other one, Aowen. This story is wonderful because it is set at a summer camp where both girls are actually in a theater performance of Wicked, the musical. And this theater camp feels so real. It's so vivid, so immersive, just as real as the problems that both girls are dealing with. They're navigating how to be friends when there's a wealth divide. They're navigating friendship when one person is still reeling from the grief of losing her mother, and the other one is facing other challenges that make their friendship really tough at this time. This author is one of my favorites, Claire Sarnowski, and if you're new to middle grade literature, I recommend checking out her works. Her stories always feel so real and they tackle pressing, relatable problems that tweens are facing today. Take It From the Top was one of my favorite novels last year, and I want more readers to enjoy it just the same way as I did.
Hey y'all, my name is Amanda from the channel Fiction Addictions, and I am so excited to participate in this middle grade recommendation video. I am not a middle grade reader, and I could have thought of some books that I enjoyed in middle school and just recommended them, but I kind of wanted something newer. I did some research, I borrowed some books from Libby, and I absolutely loved this book that I read, and it is The Mystic School of Musicraft by Jessica Corey. Now, this book, you're following Amelia Jones. She's a 7th grader that gets into a boarding school where she learns to make magic by playing the flute. So if that's not super fun, I don't know what is. But ultimately, this book is about believing in yourself, finding that inner confidence to achieve your goals. It's also about building friendships, dealing with grief, and learning how to let go. This book has been so much fun. I think there's something in it for everybody, and it has really opened my eyes to the middle grade genre. I can't wait to hear everyone else's recommendations so I can put more middle grade books on my TBR.
Hey everyone, my name is Christy, and the book I want to share today is called The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane by Julia Noble. In this book, we follow a girl named Emmy who gets shipped off to a boarding school in England. This school happens to be the same school that her father attended, only he disappeared several years ago and she hasn't seen him since. And she ends up finding a box that belonged to her father with all kinds of symbols on it and different medallions and things like that. When she gets to the school, she starts finding these symbols everywhere, like etched into walls, into books. And she ends up finding this secret society called the Order of Black Hollow Lane. She thinks the society has something to do with her father's disappearance. This book was so much fun because you get to follow her around the boarding school. There's a great mystery. The pacing was just perfect and it was just the right amount of spooky. So if you like spooky middle grade mysteries, you'll definitely want to give this one a try.
Hey everyone, my name is Hope from Hopefully Books, and I want to share with you one of my favorite books growing up, and that was Ingo by Helen Dunmore. This is a mermaid book, but I do think that it is elevated in its prose and its storyline. Its plot is very deep, no pun intended. This follows our main character, Sapphire, and her brother, Connor, who are grieving after the mysterious disappearance of their father, and they are simultaneously feeling a call and a pull towards the ocean itself and to explore some of the mysteries therein. So one of the reasons I loved this book growing up was just, it was full of imagination, mystery, beauty. It's a very poetic prose style from what I remember being young. And I think it is absolutely perfect for the mermaid lover in your life. So thank you so much, Krista, for asking me to participate, and I'm excited to join the challenge as well. So happy middle grade March.
And that is going to be it. Can you believe it? So many great people to check out, so many great books to look into. I hope that you have expanded your list, and I hope that you had a lot of fun watching this video. Please do go share some love with everybody who's listed in the description down below. Give them a follow, give them a like, watch some of their videos, comment. So please go support everybody who took time to recommend a book to you in this video. And to all of you who did participate this year, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I always love putting this together every year. I think it's so fun to see what books get mentioned. I don't give any qualifications for the book, so it's always fun to see what you all come up with, and I think you did a fantastic job this year. So I hope that you all have a wonderful middle grade March. Remember, you only need to read one middle grade book to participate in middle grade March, so I hope that you all participate in to some degree this month and enjoy one of the books mentioned here today, or one that you've been anticipating for a while on your own shelves, or something totally different. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Katie and Amanda and I really love hosting this every year, and we hope that you have the most fun this month. We'll see you in some lives really soon. Bye.